Hello and welcome in, friends, to another episode of the Two Nerds of a Feather podcast. I am one half of your dynamic duo, Mike Mercado, with the one, the only, the legend himself, Big E, Everitt O'Neal. Everitt, how are you, my brother?
Mike, it's so good to be back. It's been a while, my friend.
It has been too long, but everything appears to be everything. We are healthy. We are here, and the Two Nerds are back to grace your lives. Thank you all so much for all the support. And before we get into a very fun episode, as you guys can see on the screen, it's a very special edition of the Two Nerds of a Feather podcast. A huge and a special happy birthday to my co-host and buddy, Everitt O'Neal. For a good human, a wonderful dude. I hope you had a wonderful birthday, my brother.
Those are very kind words, Mike, and I will cut you a check afterwards. But it was definitely a good birthday. Just really soaked in all the love that was poured out to me. I've been doing these birthdays for some time now. I'm a vet to it, but it was a different feeling yesterday, especially, and I'm going to get a little personal here, when you do a lot of work on yourself. You're really able to take in the love and feel the sincerity of it and not cringe when people say kind words about you, because it's honest, and you also have an honest assessment of yourself and know how good of a person you are. So the recognition was good, and that's all I really cared about. No partying or anything lavish, just people who I love dearly just showing me the love back. So it was a good day.
Well, you deserve it, and cheers to many more, my brother. One of the best humans I know. And with that, of course, because you are such a good dude, your social media was a popping, not just for your birthday, but because your boy decided to be a little controversial and put up a meme, a game, a posting on the social medias, which, of course, you guys can follow us all over the socials. You can support the show by liking, subscribing to us, rating the video version of the podcast on youtube.com/Mercado Airwaves Network, and on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. And of course, at the end of the show, we'll show you guys how to support both the big guy and the big guy who's not as cool as the other big guy, on how you can support us outside of the podcast. But my man, you did something. You got the people a-stirring. You were talking about candy bars. And if you're watching the video version of the podcast here on YouTube or on Facebook, you can see that we are on the tiermaker.com website. It's a wonderful, fun website that a lot of different podcasts use. And I just found their template on the candy and all their top candies. You guys can see right here. We're going to go ahead and go from A to F, tier them, have a conversation, and see how this plays out. But you want to explain the post that you made and how we got here?
Yeah. So, it's a common game, I guess you can call it, on social media, which is like the one gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's been different variations of it, whether it comes to like a movie franchise or legendary artists or entertainers. Well, in particular, the one gotta go that I posted on my Facebook had to do with candy bars. And there were a nice selection. I think it was about 9 of them that you could choose from. And there were 2 that I particularly didn't care for, which were Almond Joys and what was the other one?
Butterfinger.
Butterfinger. Yeah. So
controversial.
Even though it was a one gotta go, Butterfinger was number 1, but Almond Joy could like follow right behind. Just I would kick them out like Martin. And a discussion was manifested in the comments, and I didn't know I had so many Almond Joy truthers on my friends list, and I'm having to reassess those people in my life, if I'm being honest.
You don't need those type of people in your life, that type of negativity. And with that, I think we could just go right into this list and look for said Almond Joy. So Almond Joy, we agree. That's an F tier. That's going to go on F tier. And what's his brother? Mounds? I think Mounds need to go on there as well.
Yeah.
Now, these are 2 garbage candies. I know there are people who love coconut. And like, look, I'm a Caribbean man who doesn't like coconut, so maybe I'm the outlier, but I just don't get the fetish of the actual texture and kind of the coconut itself and like the sprinkles and whatnot. I don't think it's appetizing. Coconut milk is kind of good. Coconut water is kind of decent and it's good for you. But other than that, I don't need shredded coconut in my candy.
Agreed. Like, honestly, I enjoy coconut and especially almond as a scent. You know, we hung out over the weekend and I, kind of gloated about my love of fragrances. And almond, let me tell you something. I know you're not a fragrance guy, but anyone who's listening, if any of your fragrances has just a little pinch of almond in there, oh, you are in for a treat if you're like into that gourmandy stuff. Yeah, we can say
that. All right, so we both agree it's a F tier candy. It's the worst in Halloween, and for every person who loves it, there's 10 who hate it, and we need to check our friends list.
Yeah.
All right, so with that, I guess we could just kind of go down the list and let something pops, and we want to just talk about it. Some of these I don't really know, and quite frankly, that's fine. If we don't know what they are, we'll wait to the very end and then just kind of, if we don't put them on the list, whatever. This is just more the candy that we've eaten, that we like, that you get at most grocery stores or convenience stores. And I think it'll make for an interesting conversation to move this forward. And I guess the next one is a Mr. Good bar. Now, I think that's a Hershey's, right? Essentially, that's just a Hershey bar.
Yeah, it's from the Hershey family.
Right. It's usually in one of those in Halloween season. It comes in the bag where it comes with a Hershey's and another one of their brand names. Right. It's one of those like a Crunch Wrap, Crunch Wrap, not talking about a Crunch bar. Correct.
Yeah. So I think there's two variations of it. There's like one that's a straight up chocolate.
Okay.
And then there's the other one that has like the little Nestle Crunch rice cracker.
The wafer in it. Okay. Interesting. So. Where will we put Mr. Goodbar? Is that like C's? Is that middies? Is that just safe candy?
I'm going to be honest. I do enjoy Mr. Goodbar, but it has to be the like the Nestle Crunch style.
Okay. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with. I do agree with that. That the crunch style is the best version of the Mr. Goodbar.
Yeah. I hope that's the right one that I'm thinking of.
No, I know exactly which one you're thinking of. And if we are both wrong, please let us know in the comment section below, because this is a very important conversation that we must be having within the community. So where do we put both of them?
Well, I know there's a Mr. Goodbar with almonds in them.
Oh. See, but here's the thing. I'm okay with almonds as long as it's not with extra things like coconut shreds. Like, you got to be careful with peanuts and almonds, and I think that's a preference. But I think generally speaking, that's more passable than just almond joy straight up.
Yeah.
So where do you think? We're thinking, are they middies? Is this like a C? Just to be safe? Yeah.
We'll go C.
Yeah, and then if we change our mind, we can always move them up.
We'll put. By the way, I did a quick Google search. So it's another Hershey candy that I was thinking of. That's like the Nestle Crunch. It's the crackle.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, it's the cracker version. Okay. Now, what about this one, Pocky? I've never heard of this one before. It looks like those. It looks like another one that's on this list, like cigarette sticks. So why don't you Google that one, and unless you know it off brand, and we'll go to a 100 grand bar for a little bit, and I'll vent a little bit about a 100 grand bar, because I like the 100 grand bar. I think it's a very good bar. I think it's a very complicated candy bar. I also feel it's almost a adult candy bar. Even at being at 31 and you just celebrating a birthday, I feel like I'm still too young to enjoy that candy bar, that it should be something a 60 or 70-year-old grandpa or grandma or willow would eat. That's just my personal thing when I see it, and kind of the jokes I've always heard in media and pop culture. So I don't know what you think. I think it's a very solid bar. I think it's a C. I think that's where it belongs, but I think it's a funny one that almost has this notion of being an old person bar.
Well, so I will give it a D.
Okay.
And when I think of the 100 grand bar, and going along with the theme of us being nerds, I think about the 90s commercial for 100 grand when they're at the pageant and the host is asking all the contestants what they would do with 100 grand. And then the last one, he's like, what would you do with a 100 grand bar? She's like, I'd eat it. And everyone in the audience just gasped. And it was the commercial itself that had me thinking, like, all right, let me try this 100 grand bar. And I just remember being underwhelmed with it.
Yes.
And I didn't trust pageant contestants after that.
That is underwhelming is a very good way of 100 grand bar. That is a good way of putting it. So we'll move on for that one. Any word on Pocky?
Oh, so Pocky. So looking at the box,
Mm.
it is a chocolate cream covered biscuit stick.
Okay, that's fun.
Now looking at it, it definitely looks like a thing I would eat
Yeah.
and probably enjoy. And I probably have had it at like maybe a social function, but it was probably already kind of laid out in like a fancy jar or something. I would put it at a C.
See, so we're gonna put it in a C. I think we can designate E as the asterisk if we want, as the we don't really know what it is.
Yeah, they're purgatory.
Or you want to put that as purgatory?
Yeah,
That we
purgatory.
yes.
I
All
feel
right. So
like
E.
I had Pockies at like I said, a social gathering when it was probably laying with all the other finger foods. And I was just like, oh, let me try this. This got some chocolate on it. Usually if it has chocolate on it, nowadays I'll go for it. I used to have this thing back in the day, and my friend Erica would always roll her eyes when I said this, but I would be like, I don't eat chocolate because I don't eat the brothers. Like cannibalism.
You're such a dork. Yeah, you know what I really love is around Christmas time, the wafer sticks that have the chocolate in them. Those
Yeah.
Pepperidge Farms ones, those are some of my favorite, but I'll go cannibalism if they make caramel ones, so that's okay. Let's move on. Laffy Taffy. It's not only a great song, I think it's a great candy. It's a complicated candy again because now we're moving into not a bar, but chewy and sticky and the Wonka stuff is very colorful in its own. So first time we're going into this realm. What are your thoughts about the Laffy Taffy and all its flavors?
I love Laffy Taffies, but as I've gotten older, I can only enjoy one.
Yep.
And usually it's the banana.
Banana's great. I like banana or the green apple. So this is a solid beat, right? This is a good one. If we were younger, we'd be all over it.
But it's definitely one that I've had to now enjoy in moderation.
Yes. 100% agree. All right, so B's on that one. It's one of those that on Halloween it was a good treat to have. It was always you never were upset if this one ended up in your bag. So yeah, I agree with this one. How about Hershey Kisses? I mean, this is A tier. I would think if you're a chocolate fan.
Yeah, I give it A tier. I mean, there's just so much symbolism behind it. You know, it's a good Halloween candy. Christmas time, the Christmas colors, the Christmas commercial for it. You know, culturally, Kisses are great, and they're even delicious.
I agree, and it's funny because I think it's something you can do with it. Well, you can eat it with anything. You could bake with it. It makes for just it's a great accessory on top of being a main course, and it kind of goes into our other one. I think these are what snow caps. See, where Hershey Kisses are great, snow caps should be great. There's everything that should be on them, right? Sprinkles and chocolate, you think it'd be delicious. I think it's something that just misses on both fronts. I don't think the chocolate's all that tasty, and I don't think the sprinkles on it are all that great. So while Hershey Kisses is S tier, legendary, never misses if you're looking for a solid chocolate, I think that's where snow caps fails.
I've never had a snow cap, so I will take your word for this one.
This we'll put in the solid D. We'll put it in a D.
Maybe I'll go to an all D.
or a cheap movie theater. Now, here's one you and I are going to fight about. I don't know if it's A tier. It's definitely S tier, and that is Butterfingers. Now, it is again the best of all worlds. You do get kind of the bitter, salty taste and the dark chocolate taste, the creamy chocolate taste. It is a little bit of a messy bar. It's probably on the S tier. It's not A tier like some of the big hitters we'll get to in a little bit. But I definitely think it's a strong bar. What I want to know is why you don't think it's a good candy bar.
It just doesn't agree with my taste buds. I think Bart Simpson lied to me. And
don't you be blaming Bart Simpson, sir.
I'm going to blame Bartholomew J. Simpson for lying to me for most of my childhood about Butterfingers.
So here's the thing. You and I, when we don't agree on something, we are going to have the tiebreaker, which is a coin flip. So,
all right,
yes. All right. And we're doing it on the air. Live production. So let's put this way. Where would you rank Butterfinger? What grade would you give it?
All right. Because I know how divisive it is, and taking away my feelings about it and just seeing what some people in my comments had to say, I would put it in the C.
Okay. I would put it in the S. I think it's right below A.
The C is for compromise. Okay. That is what I'm doing right now.
Okay. So you think it's a C? I'm going to go with an S. So we got to go to the coin flip. I am not budging off of this. So Heads, because Everett is the brains of all this, he will go to C. Tails, they will go to S. To be fair,
I like to say I'm the heart near the head.
it is hard. Damn you, it is a C. I will even give you the option now because you won. Are you sure you wanted to put a C? How do you really feel?
No, I'll put it at a C.
Okay, you'll put it in a C. Is it ahead of Mr. Goodbar?
It's not Almond Joy bad.
Okay, fair enough.
It's tolerable. Like if it was so I did the one gotta go, and like the first two go would be the Almond Joy. Yes. With Butterfinger following behind. But that's because the other options on that list were just too good.
Yes, that's also fair too, but that's why I love this discussion. This one's an interesting one. Cadbury. It's the dairy milk. I think in general, Cadbury's just, you don't like Cadbury. I think it's so delicious. I think the nougat, whatever it's called, and the caramel is fantastic. How about you?
No.
Okay, where would you put, is this like DF territory?
I'll put it in purgatory with the Pockies.
Okay, so I was going to put it right around like the BC. So let's go to the coin flip. Let's see where it goes. I think
you got strong feelings about that one.
Oh, this one, it's Easter season. When Easter season comes along, it is my favorite candy. Again, I'm a sucker for when you get like a bagel or something, a donut, like Boston cream. Like I'm a sucker for that type of pastry. So heads for Everitt, tails for me. Let us see what we do with Cadbury's Dairy Milk. It is a tails. I finally won something in my life. It is going to be a solid B. And if anybody wants to fight me, you can go ahead and do it on the internet.
You won a lot of things, Mike. You're getting married, man. Like,
oh, yeah. Oh, don't tell my future wife. We continue on here. How about Reese's Pieces? This is an interesting one because if you're not into Reese's Cups, this is definitely something you're not going to be into. But if you are, it is some of the best hand finger candy in the world. Where you land on this one?
So I enjoy Reese's peanut butter cups, Reese's peanut butter cups, but I don't care for Reese's Pieces.
Interesting.
Love the commercial in the 90s.
Yes.
Big pieces, mighty pieces, Reese's Pieces. But I feel like Reese's Pieces are pretending to be M&Ms.
That's a very brave yet controversial take, and I appreciate it. We both agree this is probably a C tier then?
Yes.
Yes. I think it's a good movie theater candy. Like if you want Reese's Pieces, but you want it to last throughout an entire movie, that's the way to go. But other than that, just get the cups. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the way to go. So like if you're at the grocery store, you get the cups for when you're at the crib or you're just driving or whatever. But when you're going to watch Fast 9 or another horrible fun movie, you get Reese's Pieces, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know what these are. Arrows. These look like cookies. They're going to purgatory unless you've ever ate them before.
Never ate them.
Purgatory, go. Here's a good one. One that I think is just as divisive, if you will, as any other candy bar. Milky Way. What do you feel about Milky Way?
I do. So I know a thing or two about Milky Way. It's a good Halloween candy.
It's a great Halloween candy.
I'm never upset when I see that or the other candy bar that's going to be an A in my list.
So
I'm going to put Milky Way as a B though.
Okay. I can live with B. I think I'm going to put it ahead of Laffy Taffy and ahead of Cadbury. That's for sure. Milky Way is the weaker of the candy. I think is A tier. I agree.
Like I enjoy the Milky Way, but I only enjoy them like Halloween size. So the fun size.
Yes.
I can't do a king size Milky Way. Also, don't know if they still make it. The Milky Way Darks.
I think they do only for Halloween, maybe. Yeah, those are really good.
Boss talk there.
That's next level. I don't see, as I'm looking on this list, I don't see the one that I think is better than Milky Way.
I see what's on there that's better than a Milky Way.
I know this. Yeah, I agree. But I
see 3 of my tribal chiefs on there.
I don't see. I do not see 3 Musketeers.
3 Musketeers, your A tier
compared to Milky Way.
I'll give it to you.
Yeah, compared to Milky Way, I would say that's A tier, but there's some of the ones. But we'll get into those as we go away. So here's some more. I think this is a Wonka. What is this, Spree? So this is more tropical candy, hard candy. What do you think about this one?
It's a harder candy.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about me. Like, I don't really do the hard candy. I'm actually the sweets guy. It really has to be a special occasion. But I can say, like, especially with these, like with this next row coming up, that I have tried all of them, as well as like the ones below. With the spree, I will put it in the D ahead of the 100 grand.
I agree. Good brother Alex loves these type of candies. I think they're fine. I think if that's the only candy that you have in the car or one of your friends bought, then it's good. Other than that, I would never buy it myself, you know? Same thing with this one, Fun Dip. I think Fun Dip is good. It's great if it's in your Halloween, bag or whatever, but I don't think it's Frontier. I'm going to buy it if I'm at the grocery store. I think this is like a D.
I've never gone out of my way to get a Fun Dip. It's mid to me.
Yeah. So we'll put it in D for now. And if anybody hates it, they can go kick rocks. Jolly Rancher. Again, fruit, delicious, hard candy. This is A to S tier to me.
I will put it in the S tier.
Okay. So this is as close to a perfect candy as you get. I think the thing that's bad about it is just the type of candy it is. It does kind of tend to make a really easier mess, and it's a little bit more of an inconvenience of a candy compared to a Hershey's Kisses, where they're both like that. You could eat it, and one is just easier to clean up and doesn't make a mess and isn't rolling around and collect a bunch of hair. Like, it's just, but it's such a delicious, amazing candy, especially if you get the flavor you love the most.
Yeah, and it's definitely a suck and not chew candy.
Yes. And you got to learn that as you get older, because as a kid, you just pound through those and mess up your teeth.
Yeah.
Runts. Again, one that good brother Alex loves. On that tier of like colorful candies. What do you think about Runts?
So Runts, they're kind of like the cousins of Nerds, right?
Yeah. And Nerds are good. I like Nerds.
I like Nerds. I don't like them. I like them better than Runts, though. I will put Runts ahead of the Reese's Pieces.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a C tier, because if Nerds ends up on this list, it's going to be ahead of them. I agree with that. I mean, how much more can we say about Reese's Cups? This is A tier. This is the tier. I think it's better than Hershey's Kisses. It's
A tier.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best candy in my opinion. Like, I like one bar more than it, but it is the best candy, I think. The peanut butter and the chocolate, and it's just it's fantastic. The shape of it is unique, and it's so rewarding, and it's the perfect candy where you eat the first one, right? And you're excited to eat the second one. And after you eat the second one, you're full enough where you don't need a third one, but you kind of are always ready to eat a third one.
I have no qualms there.
It's one of my favorites. Now, here's a sweet and sticky one that I love, that I always get if I get an opportunity to. I will go out of my way to have them, and that's Swedish Fish.
It depends on the circumstance.
Sure.
Like, there's some days where like I could pass on the Swedish Fish, but then there's other days where if it's in front of me, I'll have it. Like, it's almost like a seasonal candy for me.
Okay.
Like, I find myself enjoying the Swedish Fish on a hotter day.
Sure. I think it's definitely, if I'm in that gummy bear type of mood, or gummy worms or type of thing, and if I can have it, I do think it's a solid tasting one too. It doesn't taste bad if you get it. I think it's B tier, where it's that Halloween candy where if it ends up in your bag, you're happy and you're never going to trade them away. But if you do, you will trade away for something that's maybe a tier or two better, but there's not much better than it.
Yeah, it's definitely a good stash.
Yes.
It's definitely outside of like Werther's buttercream candy. It's good church lady candy.
Yes, and if old church lady is giving you Swedish Fish, it's better than most other candy you're gonna get from her. That's top tier candy from her. I agree. Good point. Gobstoppers. This is the A class of that type of brand. I don't think it's A tier, but it's definitely the A brand of it. Where would you put that one?
I will put it with Jolly Ranchers at S.
Yes, I agree. While I may not think it is, I think it's behind it. It is definitely that tier, though. That is a comparable, competent candy if you're in that mood.
Yes.
100% agree. Pez, is it good because it's a classic, or is it garbage candy?
It tastes like medicine to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm more fond of the, Pez sticks.
Yes, the gimmick.
Like, there was a teacher at the school I worked for. She would collect like the figures, had shelves full of them of all sizes, and so it was usually that lured me in more than the over-the-counter candy that they was trying to give us. Right? Not fooling me, Robitussin.
Well, here's one that isn't full of me, especially because it's not a red vine. It is Twizzlers. And to be honest with you, I like red vines as well. They don't make a difference. Twizzlers is a great candy. Is it S or A tier? The real question. Or do you even like Twizzlers?
I enjoy Twizzlers.
So that's an S tier or A tier, you think? Or B tier?
I'll put Twizzlers at the A tier.
I agree. I think
Twizzler, we going Twizzler, we going Twizzler.
Twizzlers are great. I think they're another great movie theater and movie going and just out, at a ball game or something that is a perfect candy. Because again, it's not one that makes a lot of a mess either, and it's easy to manage, and it's just a great finger candy, So I think it's top tier. Here's one that's fun: Jelly Bellies, jelly beans.
I'll be honest. I will only eat it Easter weekend.
Okay, I think this is C tier.
Also, R.I.P. to the Jelly Belly factory.
Oh, that's sad. Would you say it's C or D tier? I think it's a good tasting candy. So
I would put it ahead of the Reese's Pieces and the
Runts
or the Runts. There you go.
Okay,
I'll definitely put it ahead of Butterfinger.
Okay. I'm keeping Butterfinger right there just out of spite. How about Sweet Tarts? Sweet Tarts is a good candy, right? I think that's that's a B tier.
I would agree. I go B tier.
Yeah, and again, one of those where if by accident I bought it, I'm not going to be upset, and I'm also not going to be upset if somebody offers it to me. That's a good candy for somebody to get you.
Yeah.
Do we really need to have a conversation about this one? Starburst, A.
We'll definitely go A.
I mean, what's your favorite color?
Red or pink.
Yeah, I guess it's always pink, right? That's the right answer.
Yeah.
Lifesavers. Now, I think Lifesavers gummies. We're going to say Lifesavers gummies because I think hard candy is trash. The Lifesavers hard candy. Lifesavers gummies. Where will we put that?
I'll put it in the S.
Yes, I agree. I think Lifesavers gummies are amazing.
We can consider the S like the top tier purgatory.
Yes. Yeah. I think what the difference between S and A is A, you can have a year long. Nobody's going to be upset at you. It's the perfect candy. Kids, adults, old people like it. S tier is a little bit more niche. It's a little bit more of a custom taste or a wanted taste. B is great grocery store, at the gas station, the easiest one to get, and then so on and so forth. Then it's just quality down the rest of the list. And then obviously the absolute hell that is Almond Joy and Mounds. Skittles are A?
Skittles?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll go A tier for Skittles.
I think Skittles just off brand alone are huge, but it's a great answer to, let's say you're not an M&M's guy, that's the great answer to it. It is the great answer.
It's definitely kind of like a, Captain America, Iron Man thing when it comes to like M&M's and Skittles.
So I think you do need it kind of around. What about gummy bears?
Before we moved back, now this is a sidetrack because I did this analogy just now. Now, who would be the Captain America or Iron Man for Skittles and M&M's?
So which is which?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think Skittles are more flamboyant. They're more colorful. They're more outrageous in the commercials they do. M&M's are more innocent, wholesome, part of Americana. So M&M's would be Captain America. Skittles would be Iron Man.
I'll allow it.
There we go. All right. That's the kind of stuff you get here on the Two Nerds of a Feather podcast with Everitt O'Neill and Mike Mercado. Gummy bears.
Shout outs to Skittles, man.
Yo, they're the
gummy bears.
We're only here so we don't get fined. Shout out to Marshawn Lynch.
Yes. Gummy bears. Gummy bears.
I'm assuming it's one of these two, S or B.
We'll go B.
B? All right, yeah. I think you got to be careful, right? Too many gummy bears and you're in for a long night.
Yeah.
So, but it's a delicious food. They're great movie theater food. How do you pronounce these? Whoppers? Whoppers? How do you pronounce these?
I pronounce them like I would pronounce the burger.
The burger, right? Yeah. So Whoppers, I love Whoppers. Again, I think Halloween when I think Whoppers or movie theaters. Ooh, we disagree on this one. How much do you dislike them?
Whoppers can go down there with the almond and the mounds.
Oh my! Oh, we got to get to the. I'm going to the coin. All right. So, will the head
Wait,
of?
so where would you put it?
I put it at a C.
At a C?
Yeah.
All right. So if my coin toss wins,
You go to F.
no, if my coin toss wins, we'll put them in D.
Okay. All right. So it's either D or F. Here we go on the very important edition of the Two Nerds of a Feather podcast.
It's a roundup, you know.
Well, yeah. Where is Whoppers going? It is up in the air. It lands on heads. It is a D tier candy, and all of Mike's fans are upset. But since it's D tier, I'm going to put it on the very top of that one because I can. I run the show, and I'm the one with the mouse right now. Ring Pops. I'll be honest with you. I'm not the biggest fans of Ring Pops. I've never been. It's the only food or treat that I'm okay with getting my hands dirty or sticky is ice cream. Anything else kind of bothers me. It's a total children's, and I don't mean that as an insult. It's a children's candy. It is meant for 5-year-olds who are always messy and sticky, and God bless them. What do you think about Ring Pops?
I mean, I would agree. It's definitely a children's candy, and I remember just as a kid, seeing like the Ring Pop commercials, but also it was kind of like a very cheesy way of like asking, the girl in your kindergarten class if she could be your girlfriend for the day. Like, you want to be my girlfriend? You got to give her your Ring Pop or a Capri Sun, and
So for that reason alone, it's D tier for getting us into marriage at such an early age.
For nostalgia purposes, we'll be decent.
Yeah, and we won't put it in purgatory. Trolleys. I love trolley worms. Again, sour ones are delicious. I think it's an acquired taste, or you have to be in the mood for sour candy. Where are you with sour gummy worms?
I would put it on the C tier.
Okay. I'm going to put it at the very head of the C tier. I think it's as good as Swedish Fish or gummy bears, though, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I would probably tolerate these sour trolleys more than I would a sour Swedish Fish.
Yeah, I agree. Although, do they make sour Swedish Fish? I'm going to put trolleys up in the B tier.
I think they do. They might. I think they're blue.
I'm going to have to try. I'm going to have to try that out. Here's a fun one. Again, kind of like Laffy Taffies, Airheads.
I think it's kind of this weird thing for me with Airheads. They're great when they touch my tongue, but then when I chew it, that's when I become underwhelmed by it.
Yeah. I think it's probably C tier if I had to guess.
Yeah.
I'm going to put Reese's up here, and I'm going to put Airheads ahead of Mr. Goodbar. All right. Candy corn. Is this an F?
That's an F.
Oh, good. They needed a neighbor. That's an easy one. Okay. So
that can join that. That can go to F too.
Cadbury cream egg?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to the coin because I'm going to say this is an easy C. So this is a C or this is an F. We are going to the coin flip. It is up in the air. He's got another one. Damn, sorry, Cadbury eggs. You are an F tier. What about these pops? How many licks does it take? I think this is a good candy. We haven't had a lot of lollipops, so I guess the OG being on the list would be okay.
What, the Tootsie Pop?
Yeah.
I would. Is Blow Pop down there at all?
I do not see a Blow Pop.
Blow Pop is not there. I would lean more Blow Pop over Tootsie Pop.
Yeah.
But if we're going, I would put a Tootsie Pop at C.
Yeah, I agree. I think just simply alone, and it's bottom tier just for name and, doctor visits. If you go to the doctor and that's what you end up with, you're okay. But other than that, yeah, I'm not looking for much.
And I mean, culturally, the commercial.
Right. I think mostly that's what it is. Like most of the love for it is the commercial. But that's not why you came in here for. You came here for the hard analysis of candy. What about a Crunch Bar? Crunch Bar, this is top tier. The real question is it A, S, or B? Is it must eat 24/7? You can have it whenever. Is it great if you are looking for certain times, or is it the perfect garbage candy?
So, Mike, I'm going to take a more serious tone here when discussing the Nestle Crunch.
Oh,
and I would like to really take this time right now to acknowledge Nestle Crunch as my tribal chief. Nestle Crunch is an A for me. It is my favorite candy bar. my favorite candy. If anybody ever wants to win me over, buy me a Nestle Crunch. If you want to remix it, if you can find it anywhere, buy me a Nestle Bunch of Crunch. And if you feel cheap, get the crackle. But give it to me.
It is perfect. It is a perfect candy. It is satisfying to eat. It is filling. The chocolate is perfect. The wafer on it is perfect. It is great, whether it's king size, regular size, or miniature size for the snack time of Halloween. Crunch is a fantastic, perfect
Even the
candy
ice
bar.
cream.
Yes.
Even ice cream.
Sir, don't do them like that. The ice cream is fantastic.
Like, it is perfect.
But there's only two candy bars that are just as good as Reese's and Crunch. Two perfect candies.
And they're coming.
They're literally down the pipeline, and we could see them. There might be a third one, but we'll get to that in a second. Pixie Sticks. I think this is a C tier type of candy.
I would agree.
Yeah, I like it. It's fun. It's messy. I think it's a stereotypical children's candy. I think it's better than Ring Pops, though, but not as good as some of the next levels. So I think we're going to go with that one, right?
Yes.
Double bubble gum.
It's good for 1 minute.
Yeah. Is this an F candy?
We'll put it in purgatory.
Okay, it's top of purgatory, but
we won't disrespect it like that.
This is always, as a child, that was the candy that was always the last one left. Always the last one left. So that's an interesting one.
It's definitely like a one night stand of candy.
Yes, and a horrible one night one at that.
You enjoy it and then you throw it away.
Literally for a second. So that goes to show how bad your performance was for that second. How about a Tootsie Roll? I mean, the song is great. The candy, I think, is delicious. I think what's funny is there's never been a candy that's more candy bar to candy bar than it is a Tootsie Roll. Some just taste fantastic and some just don't hit the spot.
Great theme song and even better dance in the 90s. But I never saw it for Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah. So is it D or C tier?
We'll go D.
D tier. We'll put it top. We'll put it ahead.
Unless you have an objection.
No, we'll put it right here, and we're gonna put it ahead of 100 grand bar though.
I'm really Whoppers aren't better than Tootsie Rolls.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that right there. I don't even think Ring Pop is better than that. I think Ring Pop needs to go right here.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay with that.
Yes.
All right, so far I'm cool with that. And I think this is better than that. This is garbage. I can't believe you made me do that, but we'll talk about that later. I don't know what this is. This is just some fireball.
Is it a Red Hot?
I guess it doesn't. It just looks like a little red ball though that came in a little clear plastic package. So I'm gonna put this in purgatory. If you guys know what that is, let us know. We'll read the comments and we'll talk about the ones that we didn't know. So excuse me.
Wait, Red Hots are something else.
They look like Mike and Ike's. I thought Red Hots did.
Yeah, Red Hots are the one that look like Mike and Ike's. Well, kind of.
Well, Red Hots are kind of like hot tamales, which is on this list.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to that in a little bit. Twix bar. This is A tier, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, do we need to really gush? I mean, Seinfeld did an entire episode about it. It is a cookie and chocolate.
Okay, we just added the Usos now to our tribal chief.
Yep, there it is. Bingo. E Train, another A tier, a Snickers bar, which by the way has a fantastic ice cream, both as ice cream and as a bar itself. Guys, got to check it out. Snickers A tier, right?
Yes, the bloodline is complete.
When we talk about the four, we just hit the four: Reese's, Crunch, Twix, and Snickers. I love our A tier. Our A tier is great. Shout out to the I'm Fat podcast. I don't know if they've done anything like this, but I think this would be fun to see Jay and Rick's take on this.
Yeah, we definitely need their input on it. I'll definitely share this with Rick.
Please, with that, shout out to the boys. Hot tamales. What do you think? Never been a fan. I think this is D tier.
Yeah, I'll go D tier.
Yeah, I think just ahead of 100 grand, but not by much. I've never been a fan. But you know what I've been a fan of? I think it's S tier. Mike and Ike's.
I'll go S tier.
I think Mike and Ike's are fantastic. Nicole and I actually just a few days ago, she bought from Target. She really wanted Mike and Ike's. So she thought she bought a box, but she actually bought a 1.5 pound bag. And it is amazing to just put your little finger in, your palm in there, and just have a bunch of little Mike and Ike's every once in a while as you're walking around the crib. It is a great candy. It is such a satisfying candy. It is the chewy flavor, fruit flavored equivalent of like M&Ms, in my opinion. I love Mike and Ike's, top tier. Dum Dum. I don't know what that is.
Dum dums, ba-ba-dee, dum 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 dum. Another lollipop that pulled me in from their commercial. It was a 90s commercial, but they had like a little swap thing going on. I'm going to put them in a B.
Okay. I'm going to put them ahead of Cadbury for you.
And also, it was like one of the best insults you can call people when you were a kid. You dum dum.
Dum Dum One Gum Gum. Yeah, Dum Dum is a good one. Here's a fun one. Sour Patch. I think this is S or B tier. Are you not a sour fan?
Well, I'm not a sour fan, but if you choose between that or a trolley, I'll go with the Sour Patch Kid.
So sour will be S then.
Yeah.
Ahead of Lifesavers, I think. Interesting. So what is it about Sour Patch or like sour candy that you don't enjoy? Is it because when you're eating candy, you're not expecting that type of flavor palette?
Yeah, I don't really do bitter. Bitter's not my thing.
I enjoy it. I think I do like the contrast of it, especially if that's what I want. Like there used to be those sour heads. I don't know if they're on this list. Oh, they are. They're next.
Warheads?
Yes, these right here. The crazy ones that back in 2001 to 2003 took over by storm. Where would you put these? Because
I'll put the Warheads at an A.
Wow.
Like if I'm going to do bitter, it's going to be Warheads bitter. Like it's definitely one of those challenges. You remember like back in the day at like, Dave and Buster's or something, they had that electric chair.
Yes.
And
yes.
you would sit in it and you would try to withstand
the shocking. Yeah.
Yeah. That like Warheads is that for me.
That's funny. I thought they were good. I think Sour Patch is much a more enjoyable one. The difference between the two is one is a spicy food that's enjoyable with the food. You can still kind of taste it. You feel the burn, but you're not dying. I think Warheads or sour Warheads, I think you're like you said, those are extreme hot and they ruin you and they make you go to the bathroom for all days. So they're an extreme one. And I'm with you. If you're gonna go hardcore, go all the way hardcore. So we'll put them in A tier. How about Hubba Bubba?
Bubble tape?
Yeah. I think the gimmick is great, and I think the nostalgia is great, but I don't remember the gum being all that great.
It wasn't. It wasn't all that at all.
So is this a D tier? Or is this a C tier?
For nostalgia, I'll put it at C.
All right, so we'll put it ahead of Mr. Good.
It's not there for the taste, but just for the marketing.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, I can see that. What about Dots? I love Dots.
You can enjoy Dots.
Where do you put them?
You decide where that ranks.
I think Dots is a solid B candy.
Okay.
I think it's a solid B candy. Why don't you like Dots? You don't like that chewiness? Is it the flavor?
Yeah. Like I'm indifferent to it. I don't necessarily have a disdain for Dots, but I'm more of a chocolate guy. In spite of me not eating the brothers for as long as I did, I'm more of a chocolate guy than like a candy guy.
Okay, well, kind of speaking of that, I don't know what these are. Let us know. They're little circle candy. They might be little gumdrops. Do you know what these are?
I do. I don't know their name, but I've had them, and I would give it a D.
Okay, we'll put them on D. We'll put them at the end of D. Kit Kat, that's A tier, right? Or A or S tier? What do you think?
See, I'm not hot on Kit Kats, but I'm not hot enough on it to disrespect it, and I will put it at an S.
Okay. I'm going to put it right here. I think this is, again, out of all the chocolate tiers, this is the one where if you get it, you realize that you ended with the number one draft pick, but it was definitely the very end of the lottery picks.
Yeah.
It wasn't the number one pick, but it's definitely a good pick to have. It'll make your depth strong.
Yeah.
What about lemon heads? I like lemon heads. Not the best of candy. I don't want it all the time, but kind of hits a very unique taste if you have it.
It's a one and done for me.
Yeah. So what, C or D?
We'll do C.
Okay, we'll do end of C. I've never had these. What are these? Maltesers? Maltese?
Never had Maltese.
We'll put them in purgatory. They look kind of good. They look like Whoppers.
They definitely look like a church lady selection.
Shout out to all the church ladies. What about this candy? I can't see the wrapper, but I know they're little squares. They came in the different colors, and they were like a gummy, like a hard Laffy Taffy type of candy.
I will put them at a D.
Yeah, same here. I don't think they're all that good, but I'll put them right there. Here, yeah, these are the Kinder things. We're gonna put these in purgatory because I don't consider these candy.
Yeah, anything that looks like Easter candy, besides like jelly beans, they're bottom tier for your boy.
All right. So I don't know what this one is. It says punch. I'm going to put this in purgatory because we don't got time to mess with stuff like that because we got our final two big ones. And I think great ones to end this one on.
Yeah.
M&Ms. Now, these are the chocolate ones. I think regardless, chocolate or peanuts, M&M, from legacy to taste to convenience to the way that it's very flexible in all the ways that you can use it. It is a great utility candy. It is a perfect candy. M&M is A tier to me.
I too will say M&M's is A tier. Chocolate M&M's though. Peanuts will drop it down to like an S or a B, but I'm definitely a chocolate M&M's guy. In between Skittles and M&M's, I'm rolling with Cap, just like I rolled with Cap in the Civil War too.
I agree. So you know what? We're gonna move up M&M's all the way up because they deserve the respect ahead of the Hershey's Kisses.
Besides Nestle Crunch, I was always happy to see M&M's in my Halloween bucket.
I 100% agree. And you know what? Like again, you can make trail mix with them. Like it's a very good candy. It's and it's universal. Like kids can eat it. Old people like it's a great, very family friendly candy, if you will.
Yeah. There's so much you can do with it. It's versatile.
But we end on a fun one, a goofy one that I think is a little polarizing. I love it. I don't know if you do. I think the peoples do. Nerds.
How fitting that the two nerds of a feather podcast would come down to deciding we're nerds.
It's almost like we're professional, guys.
Yeah, just it's always branding.
Yeah, totally always random. What do you think? I think it's a great candy.
I like nerds. I would put them at the top S.
I agree. It's so funny. I think it is the definition of S. It is not a legendary one. Your grandma and grandpa might not like it. Your little cousin may not like it. Your mom and dad, you may not. But it is so still universally loved for the most part. Let's say instead of 100% liking it, about 80%, I would say, enjoy it. Most young people enjoy it. It is a fun candy. It's always enjoyable to see what color somebody is spraying into your hand. I think just like Mike and Ike's and Jolly Ranchers and Gobstoppers and Sour Patch, it hits that very specific taste when you're not looking for a candy bar, but you're looking for a sweet. And I think it is that perfect candy.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I am beyond satisfied with this ranking.
How great was this? How much fun was this?
It was beyond fun. And I know that because I'm sure we're going to download this and share like our rankings as well, right? And so that'll probably get even more of a discussion going. And this is our rankings. This is what we think. You all might have a different outlook on it, and that's fine. Some of your rankings in the different tiers might be different, but this is what we decided. And if you don't like it, I mean, just remember that in about a week, training camp is coming, and Justin Fields is our quarterback, and you are not going to speak to us any kind of way.
Yes, he is. He is the quarterback for the greatest city in the world, and we have the greatest fans in the world. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this very, very entertaining and fun edition, in my opinion, of the Two Nerds of a Feather podcast. Shout out to the birthday boy, one of the greatest co-hosts that a man can ask for in Everitt O'Neill, for not only being fantastic, but coming up with such a fantastic topic. Thank you to each and every one of you. E-Train, where can the peoples find you? I know the weekend is coming up, which means you're going to be hitting the radio airwaves. What do you got planned? How can they help you? How can they help spread the word that is Everitt?
Well, you can follow me on the IG. I am now at 900 followers.
Woo!
I don't know why don't I'm no one important, man. But you can follow me on Instagram at Bodie World Peace, no relation to Meta or Yeezy.
Maybe.
That is BODHI World Peace. You can follow me on Instagram. I made a new Twitter a few months ago, and so my name there is at Bodie Radio, I think. So BODHI Radio. You can also follow the radio station that I work for, 102.3 XLC. That is the handle on Instagram and Twitter. You can like us on Facebook. I'm on there Saturday nights, 6 p.m. to midnight, and Sundays from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., where I perform under the name of Bodie. And also, like us on YouTube, Mercado Airwaves. Well, that's your deal.
And as the radio professional passes me the ball, I will take it the rest of the way. That is right. If you want to see the video version of this very podcast, the Two Nerds of a Feather podcast, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Mercado Airwaves Network. Give us a thumbs up, a like, rate, review, and share us. Please subscribe to us over there. While you're at it, you can see the entire shows of our network, our sports show, Sports from the Couch, which we're also on Roku. That's right. Your boy is on Roku at the Rewind Sports 60 channel. You can check out the pop culture show, The Good Brothers. You can check out our sister station, The Gone Missing podcast, and everything else we're doing on Mercado Airwaves, not just on YouTube, but also wherever you get your favorite podcast at Mercado Airwaves. I'm on Twitter at Mike M Media, Instagram, Mike Mercado Media, and be interactive with the entire network on Twitter at Mercado Airwaves. I'm also on the radio airwaves, Everitt. Wednesday nights in this greatest city in the world, Chicago, 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. every Wednesday night on WSBC 1240 AM. I host a Chicago community outreach show where we try to spotlight foundations and charities and outreach that tries to help the greatest city in the world, our community. And if you want to be a part of it, please check us out every Wednesday on WSBC 1240 AM at 7 p.m. But with that, Everitt, I think we're done. I think we did the service for the peoples. They needed to know how we ranked, how we thought about this very important topic, which was candy and where they sit amongst the mountaintop.
Listen, everything we do is for the people, right? We are the people's champions. Whether they know it or not, the time is going to come where they will acknowledge us
as
the people.
As
their tribal candy chiefs as well.
Oh my goodness. Just as Justin Fields will make the NFC North acknowledge him as the tribal chief of the NFL, we will all be acknowledging this list as the official tribal chief of candy rankings for the one and the only Everitt O'Neill. I'm Mike Mercado. We will see you next time on the Two Nerds of a Feather podcast.